We would give flexibility because, if there's something that happened with some, a majority of the time, they are required to be open and they understand.
I only ask because that's another issue with the vets and they restaurant bars aren't open when they're open. So
This is a specific consideration in policy.
But I think another thing is 6 months after they open, we start.
And if they had them, they open, any or just real estates, it should open in 180 days if they were long to leave, so.
Right.
That's not good.
That's all I had.
That's what,
and already forgivable loans. Let's just say they have a restaurant that's already shut down and looking to reopen. Are these forgivable loans still applicable to applicants that have no need?
I would say that we would have to vet each person that applies. That's not to say no that they can't get something, but if you're a new business and we're trying to recruit them, within, I know.
Can't be existing, right, is my question. Can't be an existing business that will shut down.
As it stands now, correct, as it stands now, correct.
We wanted to expedite, if the inclination is to approve it, if you wanted to expedite it, you could add this to the agenda. Maybe.
That would be good, good. And,
And that was the key. I wanted y'all to have this discussion before we put it on the agenda. And if you are ready, we can always add that, because they are ready to go. Okay. That's.
I think it's gonna be added to the agenda. Thank you, Mr. Varney.
Thank you. Well, the other two should not take too long. It's a couple of items. So I've been asked from a number of you all to look into the possibility of implementing social districts within the city limits. And so that goes to your point of, kind of livening up our central business downtown. What a social district is, it allows people of age, above the age of 21 who are legally able to purchase and consume alcohol that they can do within a certain amount of boundaries. So right now, we don't have all of the details on where that would be, but I just wanted to bring to your attention that I have been asked to research those things. So right offhand, it would be somewhere around downtown. I think also off of 9564, near the hotel districts where the Gateway Center used to be. That area is one of the areas that's being considered, and any other areas that you all decide. So the purpose of today's meeting was just to kind of put that on your radar to let you know that's something that staff is working on. Right now, our priority is completing the budget process, but there are a lot of municipalities across the state that have gone to the social districts. Just to name a few, I know, I think High Point, Greenville, Wilson, Wake Forest did their thing about 2 weeks ago. So this is something that other organizations are doing, and I think it would be something that would benefit the city of Rocky Mount as well.
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, so as we do that, I think it's a great idea for all those places. What I'd like to know is if there's any kind of increased expenditure associated with that, like public safety or anything else. And if it is, if you do deem that it is in modeling, is it possible to add, some sort of incremental sales tax associated with it to be able to offset what our expenditures are? If there is some additional enforcement. Now, if you deem there's not, then it's not an issue.
Again, I haven't done all the
I know
research
you
yet,
haven't.
but what I will say to that point is that I do know that those areas are heavily policed.
Right.
If you have people walking around consuming alcohol, we try to make sure that we do have a higher police percentage there. So there will be costs associated with that. I don't know what that cost is just yet because, again, this was just an idea. We haven't done the research yet, but I knew that's just one thing in particular. And also, right off the top of my head, I know that those areas tend to get a little bit more trash. So we're not gonna let it sit there. So that'd be extra hours that we were required to do the pickup after. We hope that people would utilize the stations that are there, but sometimes from time to time when you have, just like when we have our major sporting events or parades, there's usually a lot of cleanup after the fact, but that's something that we could factor in.
I'm just saying, let's consider all revenue opportunities, particularly in these budgetary times that we find ourselves in.
Do we have the ability to do that?
I don't know.
That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah.
I really don't know. I just Googled it. It was unclear.
I was trying to, the term I was trying to think of was litter. Litter. I couldn't think of litter, but yeah, litter. Yeah. And I don't know the Billy, but I will present some options. So what I'll do is model, bring you a couple of the models that I know have just implemented those, some that has had success in the past, the pros and cons of such. Present those for you all to look at to see what will fit well and rock them out. But several people have reached out to us on doing that.
I know
Yes,
you, thank you, Trevor. I know you talked about, finishing the budget. So do we have an expected timeline for the to implement social distancing? I mean, of course, it's got to come back to us as council. Are we talking this year as far as
This
2025?
calendar year for sure, not this fiscal year, because we only got about 15 or 20 some days left in this month.
Calendar year is doable.
I will have the research ready for you all, and you'll
Understood.
decide.
I know you said, I was by the gateway. That one area, how many areas I guess have you looked at?
So I haven't looked at any areas. I just have been presented with the idea, and I just used the gateway and downtown as two areas that would kind of fit that model, because we already
Okay.
have kind of like
That's what I meant.
synergy with restaurants, and you have people in the hotels and you have people living downtown. So that's one area that would be considered. But it could be a number of other areas, but that's to be determined on where you all decide would be the perfect fit.
Okay.
Councilman Dodd?
Since we're asking a few details, the mills, that is already available to walk around.
That's my understanding. That's private property.
Okay, just make, I know I've seen it and done it.
Yeah, probably.
Don't tell on yourself.
I don't care.
Councilman Jordan?
I'm not.
Yeah,
Right.
I would be interested in, if we do open it up and, how would we cover it mill wise? Will the businesses have some responsibility in that process?
Yes. So what I know right now, just from going to other social districts, the businesses there have responsibility. I know that some of them have like required cups that you have to use. I know that you can't, in a lot of them, you can't be like bring your own beer. You have to purchase it from those businesses in the area. And so they do have responsibility, because if you have a detailed cup that says, okay, yeah, I purchased this from, this facility, then that cup is on the ground. We're going to know where they got it from. So it's going to be a group effort. That's why I can't say for certain, when we would implement it, because I want to make sure that I research the best practices across the state and beyond to find out what has worked well, what has not worked well. And then for Rocky Mount, make sure that we're doing something that has passed that test. And, this is the best practice across the state and across the nation. But again, other places are doing it. It's been very popular. It's helped kind of bring energy to certain areas that didn't have it before. So I do think it would also be a good thing. It's just that because I have not done the detailed research, I don't feel comfortable giving you all of those things yet without having something to kind of compare it to.
We look forward to your research.
Thank you. All right, the next item is just a budget recap. Don't have any new information to present to you all, but just want to kind of recap what we have today as it pertains to the public hearing today. So I think the system is warming up. Staff went back and made all the adjustments that were recommended at our last budget workshop. And this is where we have landed as of today. So the total operating budget is right at 279 million. These dollars illustrate where the majority of the funding is going for based on the year. So if you look at this, for example, at 0.40 cents of the dollar, it's going toward public safety, police, and fire. You have 22 cents going to public works and engineering, 11 to parks and recreation, 12 cents going to administration, 6 cents going to the event center, and then 3 cents going to development services. So if you add all these cents up, that equals $1. And we did the same illustration for the utility costs. You have wholesale energy costs, so this is the amount of money that we spend to purchase our energy at 41 cents, operating expenditures at 29 cents, capital outlay, so that's our major capital projects at 16 cents. The wages salary at 12%, and then debt services, water utilities only at 2 cents. You'll notice over here, we have the adjusted proposed tax rate. Right now, it's currently at 58 cents, and we're advised to adjust that to 4 cent increase. So that would land us at 62 cents per 100. The chart to my right, facing this way, shows where we were adopted for fiscal year 2025 and where we land this year. So over the adopted budget, this new budget for fiscal year 26 is proposed at just over $4.7 million less than what we were at adopted last year. This is just a general overview, but I thought it was important for us to recap from the last meeting, and also being that tonight is a public hearing, just kind of make sure that it's fair for everybody's mind. Anyone have any questions? Well, that's all that I have. Thank you.
Can we get a copy of this before the?
Yeah.
I guess. I'm learning you all, That actually had more detail on it, because I had different projects and whatnot. And those copies will be available for the general public at the next meeting. Mayor Pro Tem, that's all that I have.
Are there any other, items to bring forth to the community at whole? Does anybody have any other things they would like to discuss? If not, do I hear a motion? So move. Do I hear a second? All in favor of close, say aye. Meeting is closed at 6:09.
Joe,